Hi, quilting friends. It's Melissa, and welcome to Getting Quilty. And here we're looking at beginning quilting. So, I'm a new quilter. I have been sewing quilting in less than a year, and it's kind of crazy because my mom owns a fabric store and a quilting store. So, I'm starting to go into the family business, and in order to help out more at the store, I needed to learn how to quilt and I fell in love with it. And I wanted to start a video blog where I am able to show my progress, show what I'm learning, and have a sense of community because one of the things I really enjoy doing is talking with other quilters about their experiences and their stories. So that's what this is all about, and welcome and hope you stay. So let's get cozy. And with quilting, it is so easy to do. But before you begin, there's two things you really need to make sure you have. First, you need to hydrate. So I have my fun drink before I get started. And of course, you can't just have a fun drink, you have to have your water too. So staying hydrated is very important. Okay, and then after that, it's the sewing machine. This is my beautiful Kaffe Bernina. I absolutely love this machine, and this is a plus. So I don't have all of the features of the Pro, but the Plus is still a very good machine. It's a 770 from Bernina. It's a fantastic machine and perfect for quilting. So what I'm quilting today. Today I am doing part from this pattern from Lella Boutique. I absolutely fell in love with the Wild Honey collection. It is so sweet and so charming. So here you can see very soft blues and pinks and greens. There's also whites. So with this pattern, it comes with the recommendation of a jelly roll, and honestly, it helps because it saves you some cutting time. If you don't know what a jelly roll is, that's a trademark from Moda of a series of 2.5 inch strips that they roll into a roll, and then they call that the jelly roll. Otherwise, some people just call it a 12-inch strip bundle. So anyway, whether you call it by the trademark from Moda or by non Moda products. Look how beautiful this is. And this is all extra. So it used some fat quarters. Our store created a kit that had everything you needed already in the bag, ready to go. So as soon as you get home, you can just start quilting, start cutting and start quilting. So this is a lot of leftovers and extras that was after I did all my cutting. So that's really exciting. One thing that I did already do is I created the beehive blocks that are shown on the pattern. And those were really fun to do. A lot of it was strips, but this pattern uses a technique called stitch and flip. So that's what we're really going to talk about today. So stitch and flip is seen in a lot of different quilting patterns, and they can be really tricky because you're doing a 45-degree line. So to give you an idea of what that kind of looks like, they are really coming into these what is called a dainty flower in this pattern. So you have the beehives, and then you have these patterns which are called the dainty flowers. And so for creating the beehives and creating the flowers, you use the stitch and flip to create this edge. So it's really easy to do. You're going to take your fabric, and of course you want to make sure that your right sides are always facing each other. So right side to right side. And then for the stitch and flip, you're sewing a 45-degree angle. In the pattern, it recommends that you go through and you measure and you draw with a fabric line pen on all of your fabric. But for this pattern, we're talking about 160 of these 2.5 by 2.5 squares and 1 by 1 inches. And you have to sew them on one side and the other side. So this is the beginnings of one. So you start with this and you add this here. And you're going to do that on both one side and then diagonally across from that. So that's a lot of sewing, especially for a new quilter. So going through and doing the fabric line is one way to do it. Another way, if you don't have a fabric pen and you're wanting to make sure that you're getting a straight line when you're going to be doing a 45-degree angle, My sister taught me this trick. You can fold it in half, so we have that little triangle, and just kind of hold it and it creates a crease, and there's your line. So if you don't have a fabric pen or you don't want one, there you go. That's a really easy way to get past it. So you put right side to right side, put those together, and then you let the machine do more of the work. So I'll turn this so you can see. And actually, I need this to go the other direction, because the idea is that when you sew this line, you're going to fold it over, and that's what the stitch and flip is that where you create that line, you're going to eventually fold this over. So you're going to cut part of this and then flip it over. So it helps to create an edge and will look like a flower petal. So once you do this, you're going to do that on both sides. So here you can see what that looks like before I cut. And then here I have after I cut off the piece, and then this is the flip. So you'll press those down, and then you'll have something that kind of looks like that. And then you start to build together this dainty flower. With the dainty flower, there's a couple of different pieces that you have to start to move towards. So once you have completed the stitch and flip square, then you're going to add on a 1 by 2.5 inch strip. So you sew that on, and it looks like that. Then you're going to add another one to this, and it creates this. So now you're starting to see the beginnings of the flower to come together. You also will sew these. So to show you what those look like, I have the little baggies because this required a lot of cutting. So to keep me organized, I labeled from the pattern all the different level, like all the different letters. So this is from letter V. It's 1.5 by 2.5. So that way I can just keep myself organized when I reference back to my pattern what I'm doing. So you take this strip, and then I have another little baggie that has my 1 by 1 on my yellows. You put those together, right side. I did do a cut on here, but my machine is typically on hover mode, so I can do chain stitching. If you're not familiar with what chain stitching is, it's where you sew from piece to piece and you don't necessarily have to cut the thread. So it creates a chain between your different pieces that you're building for your block. So we're putting this right here, lining it up. And that's kind of the difficult thing about this pattern. It's just a little time consuming. It's not necessarily hard, but it does require some patience and a little bit of precision. So for a new quilter, it is a little challenging. Luckily, I do have a really nice machine, which is helping to make it a lot easier. It's trying to stay organized. Sorry, I found a piece that had a little bit of salvage on it, and I don't want that one. So I don't have a fabric pen, so I'm just gonna use the creasing method. I don't really have a specific method called for it, but Katie's patented crease method. Katie's my sister. So she's been quilting a lot longer than I have, actually. Even though I'm the oldest, she's been doing this a lot longer than I am, and she is fantastic, and has taught me so much. All right, so there. And so you can see my machine is not cutting. I'm not cutting between stitches. This is part of that chain stitching process. And so I'll just continue and go. So this is a project that's going to probably take me a little bit of time because I am a little bit slower. So on the next one, I'm going to show you, I'll probably show you one of the other projects that I'm going to work on that's much faster. But on that one, I'm going to feature a cutting tool. So I know I didn't show you any cutting in this video, but in the next one, I'm going to show you different ways to cut and a smaller pattern. This one is going to be a large quilt. So the pattern I think is going to be more of a full size quilt, but I'm probably going to add a border to make it a queen size so that I can use it in my bedroom. So Stay cozy, my friends. I hope you found something helpful in this video, whether it was the stitch and flip technique. I only gave you a little bit of it, so we'll do some more videos showing you more of that process. But you will cut here, flip, iron it, and that's basically what a stitch and flip really is. I know that in the past, this is a technique that used to be called snowballing. Um, I'm not sure why it's called that. So if you know, leave a note in the comments. But if there are other tips or tricks that you are interested in, I have really good resources because my mom and sister work at a quilting store with me. And so I can help get those things answered. So until next, friends, stay cozy.